everybody.
Hello.
We just finished watching the last episode of season 11 of X-Files.
Yep.
My Struggle 4. What did you think?
I thought it was pretty good.
I loved it. It was so amazing.
You loved it.
It was so amazing. I was in so much stress the whole time I was watching it. So much stress. It was bad. Were you in stress?
No.
No? I was stressed out. I was worried about what was going to happen. I will say that actually, okay. I kind of predicted what was going to happen. Not as far as one aspect of it goes. I predicted what was going to happen. So the whole time while watching this episode, I was kind of leaning towards what was going to happen, and it did. So it was a little predictable for me.
Yeah.
Was it predictable for you?
Basically, it was kind of like we had ideas of, everybody, you know, they gave us a few different ideas of how this was going to go.
Right.
And so basically it was just a matter of which one. So that's why I wasn't like too shocked, because I figured they weren't going to, I don't know, somehow I had gotten hints that it wasn't going to be something to piss everybody off.
But I had not read what I came up with. And I'm sure somebody in the world came up with that, but I had not read that at all. So
do we want to talk about like what happened?
Spoilers already, because this is kind of a discussion, because we just finished watching this and we're all on edge and excited. So
yeah, and I will just say, like, it was a great episode. It really was. But I wasn't blown away by anything or like shocked. Because, and that's what I meant by, you know, it's kind of like we were thinking it was going to either be this or this or this, and it was this or this, you know.
But I thought it was executed really well.
Yeah, it was excellent.
And I was not disappointed with the outcome. I was actually happy with the outcome. I'm not sure what this holds for the future, but we'll see what happens. Anyway, so going forward in this video, spoilers. So you guys just be aware, do not watch this if you haven't seen the episode yet.
Cool, yeah.
And then come back here and watch this once you have, though. Okay, so William dies.
Well, you just jump right to it.
I know, but the reason why I'm jumping to it is because I thought, I was like, you know what? William is gonna shapeshift into Mulder, and CSM is gonna kill William.
Yeah, that's what
I thought that a few days ago, but I had to like sit there. You guys, I was sitting there and analyzing the footage of the trailer. I was like, okay, cigarette smoking man is pointing a gun at Mulder, and yeah, so that definitely happened. Yeah,
but William didn't die.
Right. Okay, so good point.
If you're just watching because you like the actor who played William, you know, I hope you haven't just tuned out now, because no, he didn't die.
Right, he didn't die.
So if there's another season, he's gonna be back. I don't know if it's gonna be Mulder and William, like I said, but because of what we found out,
I know.
Maybe it's just gonna be Mulder hunting William, because maybe he's gonna be bad.
So I kind of just want to jump to it.
I feel like we should say no. I feel like you should tell a little bit about the plot.
All right. So here's the plot. Scully gets a phone call from Agent Reyes, who is apparently still helping Scully out. And now...
That's not the beginning either, though.
Well, pause. I'm not going to go scene shot for shot, because this...
No, you don't have to go shot by shot, but let's just say, how did it start?
Well, it started with a voiceover...
Right, okay, so let's start with that, because you didn't love that.
I didn't...
It was basically a voiceover of William basically catching you up to date of his story.
Of his story.
So like if you didn't, you know, if you hadn't seen before.
Here's what would have been great. We should have not had the previous episode and had maybe a backstory on William in the previous episode instead. I don't know, something, or at least
it did
longer 2-episode.
Well, like for me, it
thing.
seemed kind of jarring.
It was.
To go from the previous episode to this episode.
Right.
It's just, that's the thing about their you know.
That's how
the way
X-Files is, though.
Yeah, they do that. They do like Monster of the Week, and then they jump right into the you know, the main storyline, and it can be jarring.
Yeah.
And that's what I've always kind of complained about. And I love the Monster of the Week stuff, but sometimes I just find that too jarring, you know?
I'm fine with it. It's been happening since the beginning. I mean, in season 2, you'll watch a Monster of the Week episode, and then you'll see Mulder in the next episode. Immediately, the first scene is him, you know, somewhere in Puerto Rico, looking for aliens. You know what I mean? And Scully's nowhere to be found because he left Scully behind. And it's part of the,
well,
you know, so a lot of stuff like that.
I mean, that's okay. It's just, well, sometimes that's okay. But like, and this was a good example of when it jars me, is like, you know, because they kind of started out of sequence with this episode.
Right, and that's what I was going to say with this episode. They start out of sequence, and then they do flashbacks, and then they get back into
the sequence.
Which is a little confusing at first. But.
Yeah, it's a thing that you see, you know, from time to time in movies and stuff and TV shows, and I guess it's just to be creative.
Right.
I don't know, but I mean, I don't know how good of an idea it is, but it's a thing that's done. But it was jarring after just a Monster of the Week episode, you know. So
the reason why I wasn't very excited about the William monologue at the beginning was the fact that it was like his backstory all lumped into like, you know, 60 seconds.
It was like other shows that do like Last Week on,
right?
You know, except this was not Last Week. This was just
it's like you wanted to be invested in the character, but they had about 5 different kids playing him through the ages, and it was a little awkward. I felt. I don't know.
I didn't have a problem with that. You know, it's like what you were saying was it wasn't like the old monologue intros.
It was not like the old, and you guys know that they have always done monologues in X-Files. Voiceover monologues.
Yeah, narrated
monologues.
intros.
And I showed you a couple before we did this video just because I wanted to show you the difference.
The difference.
They were very much more poetic back then. It wasn't about plot exposition, although sometimes
that was the difference. This was totally like a lot of info they were trying to give us.
I showed you half of one, and it was Memento Mori. And had we continued watching it, you would have noticed, oh, she's giving plot exposition about what's happening. That was the episode where she learned she had cancer.
Yeah.
They were able to do it in a way that was not so.
But it wasn't the kind of plot exposition.
Right.
It wasn't the amount of. I mean, like you said, they could have, the previous episode, they could have eased us into this.
Yes.
By having that be a William episode.
I wish they had. And not that I didn't like the previous episode, because there were moments that I truly enjoyed. But, move
it back a little bit.
But, right.
They should have had it earlier in the season. And
if they knew they were going to do this storyline, prepare for another episode, or do a 2-hour, Or a
2-hour thing.
But I will say that whereas in My Struggle 3, which was the first episode of this season, that was a little more all over the place. This one was a little more cohesive, I thought. As far as like the first.
Are you still talking about the monologue? Or?
No. I'm talking about overall as an episode. The past few My Struggle episodes were a little bit choppy and a little bit confusing because you didn't know what was where things were going in the timeline. This one was done a little bit better, I thought.
Well, just one more thing about that monologue is I was just sitting here thinking about it. See, we've only watched the episode one time and so far, and I was
I've seen it twice.
Oh, you've seen it twice. I was gonna say, well, because I was thinking we didn't, if you're watching this episode, you don't really need the history because you've seen it. But I can kind of understand it. They're trying to have you think more about the character.
Right.
Before you go into this
exactly
ending of the character.
They wanted us
not
to,
really, but
they wanted us to
yeah. So I get it. I get it.
Character.
But again, I didn't have any problem with the opening monologue. So.
And I guess my issue, which is funny because at first when we were first introduced to William this season, I was a little, or was it this season or last season?
Like last season at least.
When we were first introduced to William, I was a little. Because,
you mean this new actor?
Yeah, because. But he's grown on me. I mean, he was great.
Oh,
he was great in this episode.
I don't know. That might have been this season. I don't know if he was. In
I think he was only in this season.
Yeah.
He's definitely grown on me. So I wish we had seen more of him and more of his backstory.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think that's what they were trying to accomplish in the first few.
Yeah, basically, because he was telling how his life had been.
Right.
Yeah.
And it was also parallel to the other My Struggle episodes where I'm not sure which ones were which, but it was an intro of my name is Fox Mulder. My name is who's the cigarette smoking man? Didn't the cigarette smoking man do one? I don't know. But there were a lot of my name is so and so, and they gave a little backstory.
I know people know his name, but I don't remember it.
So, and this was kind of the continuation of that. But so after we see this, we see a little bit of his life growing up, and he did have a good life. He said childhood, but his powers started to grow as he got older.
Yeah, he's just got like crazy superpowers. He's totally X-Man. They even reference the X-Men in this. He's totally got crazy good powers, you know.
And he didn't know how to control them, so he kind of went nuts a little bit.
He literally like explodes people, you know, in this. And like all the like people who are chasing him,
which is one of the most fantastic scenes I have to say. But we'll lead up to it.
And and of course he can make himself look like anything or anybody. Mm-hmm. So he's got crazy good powers. You said it looked like he was super strong, but.
At first I thought he was super strong, but then I was like, wait, is that just how teenagers are? They really agile or something?
Yeah, I didn't see the super strong.
He was doing some skater moves.
He's just doing like parkour and stuff. And
I was like, what?
You've never seen that, but
no.
Yeah.
So that was impressive.
No, it's just we don't do that.
Hey, we're lifting weights now.
But
so after that opening scene, I don't remember exactly what happened.
The bulk of the episode to sort of get us to the more big parts was that Mulder was out trying to find William.
Right.
And it was sort of like the stuff was hitting the fan for William. So it was like, I have to find him now. I'm tired of all this, like, not...
Yeah, Mulder even said that he was tired of seeing him on video, because there are several times where Mulder's always a few steps behind him when he's trying to find William.
Something kicked Mulder off on this search, right? In this,
it was
episode. Agent
Reyes.
It was Reyes. She called up Mulder.
She called up Scully.
Oh, she called up Scully.
Agent Reyes called up Scully, and Scully rushed to Mulder's house. She unlocked the door, didn't he? Just walked in on Mulder. I guess.
Yeah, but wasn't he already packing or something?
No. He was just sitting at his desk.
Okay, I could swear I saw him on the phone getting the message, but okay.
And then Mulder was like, "Who's on the phone?" And Scully handed him the phone.
Oh, okay.
Put Agent Reyes on speaker and said. And Agent Reyes said, "I know where William is. He's going to be on this airplane. They're taking him to this airport, and it was in Norfolk."
Yeah, I didn't catch where.
Norfolk, Virginia. I can't say that.
But see, and at that point, that was when they were showing us what had led up to the beginning, the opening scenes.
Right, because before that scene, they had shown us Kirsch, Assistant Director Kirsch, getting after Skinner for allowing his agent Mulder to go on the news.
Some like Fox News kind of show.
He was walking like Bigfoot.
It was a shot of him. She thought it looked like Bigfoot.
I was like, it's Bigfoot.
But it was like that same show that he was on in the previous season.
The Tad O'Malley show.
Yeah, with what's his name from The Soup.
Yeah.
I forget his name, but yeah. So he was there. You know, he's been on this talk show basically.
Kirsch is a jerk.
Talking about the conspiracy and everything, and just spilling everything.
Kirsch is such a jerk.
Oh yeah, I know you hate him. And he basically fired them.
Yeah, he was like, I
in
want
that
their
opening
badges.
scene.
You know, he was like, get him out
I
of the
guess
FBI.
it doesn't count since they weren't there, but well, Scully was there.
Well, he fired them through Skinner.
Yeah, I
and
guess.
Skinner, poor Skinner, I felt so bad for Skinner in this whole episode because he was getting reamed from every direction. And I mean, and they even showed that. Like,
he was so nice.
First Kirsch was getting after him, and he walked out the door, and then I think he got a phone call from somebody. Oh, he immediately, right when he walked out the door, he got a phone call from the cigarette smoking man, who, if we all recall, he's been in contact with the cigarette smoking man.
Yeah. For a season at least.
And CSM is telling him, look, I'm about ready to unleash this disease on the world unless you find William. And Skinner's like, well, if I find him, will you not unleash it? And CSM's just like, yeah, sure, whatever. And then right when he gets off the phone with him, then Scully comes around and says, I've been calling you 3 times. I left 3 messages. Where are you? And poor Skinner, I feel so bad for him. That poor man.
Just to sidetrack really quickly, and I know we saw, and I guess that was them giving it to us, the results of like if he had unleashed this what is it? This
oh yeah.
This disease.
Right, because all those episodes that happened previously don't even matter. Because
they were basically kind of just showing us what it would be
but
like.
I kind of like that.
But I was gonna say, that's if anything kind of disappointed me in this episode, it's that we didn't get to see like full on like disease like spreading and alien invasion. I know we saw that last season, but it was fake.
Well, yeah, but I don't need to see it again.
But they were building up to the season finale. I just thought it was gonna be something big like that, you know?
Right.
And I mean, it was more like big but small.
Oh, this was big.
This was like big for like.
This was big, okay? This was big for hardcore fans.
It was big for like
it
the
was
heart.
Like, it was heartfelt, internally big.
Character big.
Yeah.
It was big for the characters.
Absolutely.
It wasn't big for like the world, and which kind of puts it in an interestingly like kind of bad situation because like Mulder has been on television talking about a conspiracy, and we haven't gotten to the way it turns out, but
let me tell you, man, Mulder will be fine. He's been dealing with this his whole life. He's constantly
now the whole world has seen him like talking about conspiracy.
He's been constantly ridiculed.
Yeah.
He's got Scully,
but
that's okay.
You know, they've been supposedly fired. You know, they didn't like.
They've been fired about 10 times by now, so it's okay.
Okay, well,
I think they'll be fine.
This seemed more serious, but anyway, where were we? We were talking about Mulder went out on this search for William. And meanwhile, of course, the cigarette smoking man has like a team of like SWAT type dudes out after William.
And you have 2 different teams. You have the CSM team, the cigarette smoking man team, and you also have the other team, which I would just like to call the Hershey team because it's Barbara Hershey.
Wait, that's separate from cigarette smoking man's team?
Yes, they are absolutely separate. And we find out, now I'm pretty sure...
Wait a minute, I thought they were one group.
No, they're not. They're not one group.
Explain.
Explain as you would a child. So the Barbara Hershey group, the Hershey group, they claim that all they wanted to do was create a new revolutionary space program. Now Mulder was very paranoid and as you would be because that was very skeptical. That's a very odd thing to do and to want this boy and everything. But apparently it's pretty close to what they say, maybe, unless it's like a cover-up. But Hershey was also, I just remembered, she was also involved in that other episode though, where she was controlling the minds of the, oh yeah! Oh my gosh, do you remember that?
Langley. I just really want a Hershey bar right now.
Langley.
Langley.
Yeah.
What about Langley?
The episode about Langley.
Yeah.
That was her. She was involved in the science.
Yeah, but I thought Cigarette Smoking Man was with her group.
No. Two separate groups.
Okay, I never separated those groups.
Two separate groups.
Since she first came on?
And honestly, I think Cigarette Smoking Man is just on a personal vendetta because I don't remember ever seeing people surrounding him recently. Now, I do know that they did flashbacks. And
I thought he was tied to that group.
No, he's not.
Surprised. Okay.
But somehow CSM has the power to spread this disease worldwide. So, where were we?
Anyway, they're all chasing William. They're all trying to find William. So William is like hardcore on the run, and he's like getting rides with truckers and stuff like that, and everybody's trying to molest him.
I know, it was
and
horrifying.
I'm thinking just to change. Well, he does at one point, scares a trucker. But no, what I was gonna say is he goes and like wins the lottery with his powers to get money all the time.
About 10 times.
He even shows that he's got all this money, and it's like, buy a freaking car, dude.
Yeah, I know.
Buy a car and stop getting rides with like psychos.
Can you buy
I guess
a car
he's figuring that he he doesn't want to be traced or tracked, but I mean, yeah, you can buy a car from a dude who has a car for sale.
Like a dealer or something?
No, like just a guy with a car. He's trying to sell a car. There's people
that
just pig numbers on their cars. You can buy a car. You can buy a motorcycle. You can do things. Buy a bus ticket. You don't always have to
be in the rain.
I mean, maybe you have to.
Riding out in the rain.
I don't know how much ID you have to give.
There are several things that he could have done. But
I don't know how much ID you have to give, but there are ways to get around. Like if you have money.
I think the main thing he wanted to avoid was to be tracked by people.
Yeah.
Like, let's say he went to a bus station. Somebody's gonna go to that bus station and say, "Hey, did you see this kid?" And he's like, "Yeah, he got on this bus." You know what I mean? He was trying to avoid that at all possible costs.
He should have bought a motorcycle off some dude somewhere.
And been like, get your motor
be more
running.
badass and everything.
Yeah.
But anyway, so everybody's chasing him and he's getting rides.
And Mulder is desperately trying to find him.
Mulder's trying to find him, and Scully is doing what? She's also kind of trying to locate him, but without going out on a trip.
Yeah, and we find out why.
Yeah, kind of.
But Scully just sends Mulder off. Actually, no.
And he's just
Mulder didn't even want to. No, wait.
He wanted her to come too,
Scully did not want
Mulder to go.
Mulder to go. Actually, she because she said she had a feeling that he wasn't that William wasn't going to be on that plane that Reyes had mentioned about. But Mulder was like, "But what if this is our only chance? We have to go find him."
But William has seen Mulder die in that vision, like in that dream.
Right.
Has Scully? She's probably also seen that.
Yeah. Yes. I don't know if she had seen that right before, previously yet. I don't think she had. No, she hadn't seen that until like later on in the episode. But William had seen it.
Okay.
But he was getting it incorrect.
Yeah. Obviously.
It wasn't. Yeah, it was himself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which.
So anyway, to get to that, we should have saved that for later.
We already said it.
I know. And basically, eventually Mulder goes to the girlfriend. You remember he had two girlfriends in the previous episode.
Not Mulder's girlfriends.
No. William had two girlfriends, and Mulder goes to one, but William has actually already gone to the other one.
Right. Actually, no. He went to the other one first.
Oh, he did?
He went to that girl's first.
Wait a minute. Did they show that? I didn't see that.
They showed her saying that he had already been there, but you could tell that she was like the type of girl to just kick him out of her life. And that's why he couldn't stay there. So he went to the other girl.
Yeah, but I didn't hear anything about him having already been there.
Yeah, she told Mulder. When Mulder knocked on her door, she said, "He's already been here. I don't remember her saying that. You should try the other house."
She just said, try the other, you got the wrong girl.
You got the wrong girl.
She never said he had already been there.
Yes, she did. No, absolutely, she did.
Okay, I'll have to see that again.
She totally did.
We'll see. Anyway.
Oh, no. You know what she did say? She said, he's in a lot of trouble.
Okay, I didn't care.
So he had been there,
but she
and
never
told
said
her about all that.
Right.
But she was like, I want nothing to do with you. Get out. And so he went to the other girl who's more emotionally attached.
Yeah,
obviously.
but she obviously, I think, already was kind of trying to like not be. It looked like he looked really desperate to her.
I think
in her face, it looked to me like she just wanted him to leave.
No, I think she would have gone to meet him at that hotel. But Mulder showed up and she was like, oh, okay, the dad's going. I'm fine.
Yeah, Mulder showed up, and Mulder, everywhere he's going, he's like trying to find out where he is, and he's always saying, I'm his father, I'm his father.
It's so sweet.
Yeah, it is.
And so I have never seen throughout all the episodes, except for maybe like the very first episode when William was born, he was all in love with him when he was holding him.
And that's kind of a weird thing about this episode. He's like, usually like Scully was the one who was passionate about William.
Right.
And Mulder was kind of meh. And now in this episode, it was kind of like swapped. And
honestly,
it was a little weird, but I guess it's just because...
I think more of meh. I think he had just like closed that part of him off because he didn't want to think about it ever. But
Maybe.
he was like so... You know, I'm looking for my boy, and it was so.
Like that,
I was like, it's the 1930s and the Waltons, and he's looking for his boy. I was just like, oh my god, I don't know. It was just really, really sweet.
It was.
And he's like, I'm his father. I'm his father. You know, and just constantly, and it's just like when you find out. What you find out, it's just sad.
Yeah, well, hang on. Okay, so...
So anyway, so finally Mulder ends up getting to the hotel room where William is staying at. And it's a great scene, fantastic scene. Mulder knocks on the door, William looks through the blinds and says, I'm trying to sleep, what do you want? And I'm pretty sure William knows who he is.
Well, yeah, he kind of knows who he is.
He's afraid of William's afraid of hurting or getting Mulder hurt or in that situation. But he decides to trust Mulder and he opens the door to him. And Mulder walks in and he's like, I've been looking for you forever. And he just walks up to him and hugs him.
Yeah.
And oh God, I'm tearing up. It's so good. It's so good. You guys, I'm not even really like into the whole family thing, but this is so sweet. It's so true. Oh my god.
Yeah, it looks like I don't cry with stuff like this, but I mean, what was the movie trailer that you had me watch recently? And I
don't know.
I do get we were like
Mary Poppins.
I know there was something just like this morning there. Oh, that Mr. Rogers documentary.
Oh my gosh.
She sent me the trailer for this new documentary on Mr. Rogers.
We are so going to that.
When that started, that trailer just started, and like from that to the end, I was just like,
Niagara Falls, Frankie Angel.
Totally. Yeah, it's but you're like super. This is her show, no doubt. And I love this show, but this is totally your show for real.
So, I mean, and David Duchovny, fantastic job. Just the way
everybody's excellent.
The way you walked in and you hugged your son and William Dude, sorry, I don't know your acting name.
Your real name?
Your real name. I know that you're what's her face's son. You're a Sarandon, so I know that.
Is he? He's Susan Sarandon's son?
Yeah.
Or Chris Sarandon? Is it both of theirs?
It's not Chris's son, it's the other ones. So yeah, it was just fantastic. Mulder was wanting to hold him, and he even said, "You're taller than I am, and I held you when you were a baby," and all this stuff. And he was like, "Okay, you're weird."
Yeah. Well, so maybe he already had information of who his father was.
He did, because in the opening monologue...
So he was like, dude, you're not my dad.
in the opening monologue, he said it.
Mulder's not the real dad.
He was like...
oh, did he say that in the opening?
Yeah, he said, I already hate my father because he's a horrible man and all that
I figured that...
And then they showed visions of him.
But I just didn't know if he was like 100% like knowing.
Well, that's what I was hoping. I was hoping they were going to end up finding out that it was.
Yeah, I still thought maybe it would turn out that it could be turn out to be Mulder, but
because I don't know if you remember, but talking about struggles, but Scully tried so hard to get pregnant with Mulder. Like, it was like a thing.
yeah. See, I don't even remember that.
It was awkward, but it was beautiful, and they played it so perfectly. So this has been a thing, you know what I mean? Like the pregnancy and everything and the kid. And so he has thought that he was the father for so long, you know what I mean? It was just,
Yeah, that's why he said later, like, I believed it for so long.
Oh, God.
Who does he tell that to?
Scully. But
So that was way towards the end, okay.
Yeah, so so he finally meets William. The whole time in this hotel scene, William's like, look, you can't protect me, so just stop trying to protect me, you know? I don't want to get you guys hurt. So in Mulder, of course, Mulder's Mulder, and he's like, look, I can protect you. I've been doing this for years. You know what I mean? Like, he's like, I know how to protect someone. I saved Scully from aliens on a spaceship one time. But anyway, and William's just like, no. And William apparently has superhero hearing because he heard a gun click or the safety go off of a gun or something like that. And he said, oh, we're too late. They're already here. So he knew right before somebody was going to come through the door. And he was telling Mulder, stop, don't open the door. I don't remember why Mulder opened the door for some reason. Don't open the door when somebody's knocking. Everybody knows that. Don't open the door for anybody.
Open the door for anybody.
Never. And I'm surprised because Mulder would never do that either.
Yeah.
But Mulder used to be so much better at this, like Mulder was William in the early years. He was so good at like moving around the country. And like being secretive and not getting caught. And so,
Wait a minute, what are you talking about? He was an FBI agent.
Man, he would go on trips like on the company dime. And without anybody, like he would leave Scully in the early years. He would just be like, okay, I'm going to Puerto Rico and other places. Anyway, it was just really cool to see William doing this because Mulder was a lot like that in the early years. But the people rush in, and these are Hershey's people. The Hershey people rush in to get William, and William just tells Mulder to stay down. He says, stay down. And William just goes like this, and he and then it exploded. He just explodes.
Everybody exploded.
Including
just like popping like
the
blood.
final explosion was just Barbara Hershey looking up like, I just got on X-Files. Like that's the expression she had on her face. She was like, I just made it on X-Files.
That was cool.
I love Hershey. And Mulder is just like, what the hell happened? What the hell?
And I was like, okay, right there, Mulder's thinking like, this isn't my kid. But
not it.
Yeah.
But actually, we thought that that's what he was thinking, but no, this man gets up and he's like, my son won't listen to me still. I'm just like, you poor man. You poor man.
My son won't listen to me, Grandma.
No, Grandma, I didn't get the job.
Oh, man. And Scully
calls him.
Calls who? What? Tell me.
Calls Mulder. Scully calls Mulder after that. Oh, actually, no. Mulder calls Scully.
Yeah, like you were just
Mulder
saying.
calls Scully.
And at what point does she go after him? Because she goes out to.
Well, Mulder calls
Scully. Not till the whole ending.
Mulder calls Scully and says, "Scully, you will not believe what just happened." And he says, he will not listen to reason. And then Scully says, well, he'll listen to me. And then she says, I'm coming out there. So she ends up going over there with Skinner, who decides to help them because because Scully asks for Skinner's help. Skinner is reluctant to give it to them because he's supposed to have fired them. But of course, Skinner is, more, he's best friends with Mulder and Scully, so he decides to help them. He gets Scully in the car, and they're heading over to Virginia to meet up with Mulder and William. And while they're in the car, Skinner discloses the information he has on William's father. And now
they do it kind of off camera. You don't actually see.
They do it off camera. Now, we didn't get the reaction from Scully that I would think.
We didn't actually get it while she was hearing it either.
Right. What they did do is they kind of muddled, after he told her, they muddled the external sound that Scully was hearing, almost like she was like, she was going into tunnel mode.
Oh, okay.
She was like, what?
Yeah, that's something.
And then she sees Mulder's car rush by, that silver Mustang, and she's like, that's Mulder, and it like wakes her up. And then they go on track, and they go to the docks where William has gone. Mulder follows him, and this is where Mulder is talking to the girls, because this is where William goes to the girls.
But you don't know that,
right.
I mean, you know that he was talking to the girls, but
do we? I don't remember.
Well, I mean, we see him talking to the girls, but then after that, we see him. There's some running and chasing and stuff,
right.
and then we see Mulder, the smoking man, on the docks.
Oh, no. Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
What did I say?
There's a lot of stuff that happens in between.
Oh, okay. I thought you were cutting right to that.
No. So after we get to, let's just skip to the dock area where Scully's finally at the docks. Mulder's at the docks. Skinner is also at the docks, but Skinner is waiting outside. Scully rushes inside into the warehouse where Mulder's trying to catch William. And Skinner turns around while he's outside, and he sees a car heading towards him. So he approaches the car, kind of like, I surrender, hands up. He knows who it is. It is CSM and Agent Reyes. They're in the car together. And so we're cutting back and forth to Scully trying to look for William and Mulder, and then we're cutting to Skinner. What?
Go on.
Okay.
Go on, then I'm going to say something.
So Skinner is approaching the car, and he pulls his gun out, and he's about to shoot them. Well, Agent Reyes, the good woman that she is, that we find out at the end, she reverses the car quickly to get out of the way so as not to hurt Skinner. But CSM quickly takes control of the car, hits it forward into drive, and punches the gas. And Agent Reyes is like, no, don't do that. Punches the gas, heads straight for Skinner. Skinner starts firing his gun off, hits Agent Reyes through the forehead. Reyes is gone.
Oh, yeah.
Which is really sad because I knew she was good all along. I did. She was always good.
So anyway.
Makes me sad.
The car is
going towards Skinner. CSM's still alive. He's punching the gas. And Skinner decides to run away from the car, but not before tumbling under the car, and the car went over him.
It hit like another car.
It hit another car, and later we see Skinner's legs, and it didn't look like the car had run over him.
And the smoking man is like kicking the leg, checking it out.
Yeah, so I don't think Skinner's dead.
But we never see Skinner again, so it's like
we don't. But
if this was the end of the series, which we don't know,
we should imply that he's dead.
They left him dead. Technically, they left him dead. I mean, anything else is just like making stuff up, unless they come back with another season and he's okay.
I guarantee you it's not the end of the series.
I doubt it is.
They're coming back.
Although
they're coming back.
We'll talk about that later. But
Yeah.
what I was gonna say was, did we ever see him again? No, that was it,
No, we
right?
never saw him again.
We just saw his legs under the car.
His legs were under there, but his body was not crushed, from what we could tell. Did he light up a cigarette after that? Because I really hope he did.
The smoking man?
Yeah.
He's always
I know,
smoking.
but I don't remember him ever smoking.
I
the
don't
rest of the
remember,
time.
but I will say this. Did we skip the part where Scully calls up the TV show?
Oh, we did skip that part.
So before she goes off with Skinner, and she calls up a TV show and is like
She calls
telling
it the
them
Tad O'Malley
this
show.
is an FBI agent, and yes, everything that Mulder was saying is true, and he's like our only hope.
Right.
So she sort of backed him up there.
But-
although she didn't give her name, she just said say it's your source is another FBI agent.
Yeah.
So anyway,
She's still not willing to do that with her everything. She's
he
still not. willing
asked
to-
for her name, and that's all she would give.
Yeah.
But she's also got a
Well, he knew. He knew.
reason to need to keep
He knew
her,
her
job,
name,
She's already
but-
lost it.
Yeah.
But yeah,
They might not lose it now that Skinner, got crushed or maybe it's a self-defense thing. We'll see. Anyway, but Mulder did shoot a lot of people on the way over there. I mean, he
kinda
killed
went gun crazy
Oh, we forgot
at
to
one
mention that. Yeah, he went.
Yeah, he
gun
killed
crazy.
I mean, it was that group, right? It was Hershey's
It's
group.
Hershey's group that he
But he
gunned
just
down.
like gunned him. But I mean, were they shooting at him, or were they just running towards him?
I feel like they were just running towards him. I mean, he would have gotten captured, and
killed.
that would have ruined everything, or killed. The older man who he shot just immediately, he was gonna shoot him, so that's okay. But the soldiers, I don't know. I guess Mulder was just fed up, which is good. I mean, it would have stalled things had he not killed him.
Yeah, but I don't know what implications it might have later, but maybe none because it was Hershey's group and she probably just cleaned it up, or she's dead, so maybe not.
Nope, she exploded.
What happened to that one guy? The big guy.
Mulder shot him.
Oh yeah, Mulder walked in and shot him. So
Yeah.
these bodies are just laying there because there's nobody else to
Yep.
unless there's another head guy I don't remember.
Maybe everything will get brushed under the rug, which would be nice.
So not everything, because he already went on TV and.
Oh yeah.
But anyway, and that's what he was in trouble for with the FBI.
True,
so.
running the.
I don't know how you would keep your job after that, so that'd be something.
He's done it several times. I don't know. So back to the warehouse scene. Scully is chasing William and trying to find Mulder as well. Then Scully runs into Mulder, and Mulder says, "It's me." Okay, and David Duchovny did a really good job at acting like William when he was William, I must say.
Oh yeah.
I was very impressed by that. David Duchovny must have sat down and watched some of Sarandon of William's movements and stuff, because he was acting like that kid, which was really cool.
Yeah, I'm sure he did.
Scully ran into Mulder and Mulder said, I spoke to William. He wants you to let go. He knows that you can't protect him. And Scully's just like, what are you talking about? He's our son. We can protect him and all this stuff. And he's just like, just let it go. He knows that you love him. And Scully's like, what? How does he know that? And then all of a sudden you hear Mulder run in and say, Scully! And then she looks over at William, and Mulder, and he's gone already.
Yeah.
So, then there's a huge scene, just like a pretty long scene of Mulder running and then William running, and Mulder running and William running. And throughout this whole scene, I was like, I was right a few days ago. I was like, this is totally gonna happen.
That's kind of weird that.
I loved the way that was shot.
They basically let us know
What was gonna happen?
that it wasn't really Mulder before that. That he was turning into, because
Do you think the average person would have predicted that?
Well, I mean, but I'm saying they showed it. basically.
Right, but
And
he
before
turned,
the, you know.
but he turned back into William. Like he was turning back into William.
But that's a pretty huge, like, I mean,
I don't know. I don't know how intelligent they think the audience is. I really don't.
I'll be honest. I didn't even like think about it either. When
really, because I was the whole time.
Well, I mean, when he was talking to the Smoky Man, you know, at the end there, because
he was giving it.
I mean, I figured it out before he killed him.
Well,
you know?
especially okay. So let's get to that part. So after William and Mulder are seen running, and you see shots of Scully too. Finally, William turns around the docks, on the outside of the docks, and CSM shows up.
Yeah.
And he has a confrontation with Mulder. And once again, Mulder, and if you didn't know already, you could definitely tell that was not Mulder.
Yeah.
That was William.
Yeah, that's
because
what I mean.
David Duchovny just was really good about playing it like William, you know? So
that's what I mean, I guess, is that you could tell, and it just seems like it would have been more of a, you know, in most movies and stuff,
you would
they
have
would want you
preferred
to
him
not
to
know
not act
until
like
no, it would no, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that they like maybe they wouldn't have had that moment with Scully before because they wouldn't want you to think about it until after.
Right.
You
but
know?
you had to have that moment with Scully just so that you could have
get
some
that
closure.
to have that good moment with Scully,
Yeah.
but although she kind of had seemed like I don't know. Yeah. I guess so. And
so basically, CSM says, "I'll shoot you," and William was like, "I don't believe it," and he shoots him right through the head, and he falls off the docks.
So William dead in the water.
Dead in the water.
Smoky Man thinks he just killed Mulder.
Right.
But then
we hear, "Hey!"
it's
and then
Mulder.
CSM turns around and Mulder just starts firing off like so many rounds into his
and then pushes him into the water.
into his stomach. Mulder.
Well, that's a dead shot. I mean, you kill somebody, you shoot somebody in the stomach, they're probably gonna die.
The head. Always shoot them in the head as well.
Yeah.
Double tap.
Even
double
still,
tap. Always.
With this guy, I don't even know that. Who knows what kind of experiments he's done on himself?
That was okay. So the opening.
Because after that, when the whole thing is over, we're gonna get back to this point. But when the whole thing is over, we do see William come up out of the water with his little bullet hole.
Yeah.
He's alive, and who knows? Smoky Man might do the same thing.
Oh, absolutely, and that's what I'm trying to get to. Mulder has been, and I feel like I'm speaking to Mulder right now, but what were you thinking? Mulder, why would you do that?
Not, like some people said, like, should cut his head off or something.
Should have decapitated him, put him through fire, although that didn't work the first time. So, I mean, this man has been blown up. I mean, he's been shot.
Oh, well, he's been blown up?
He's been blown up.
Well, forget it then. He's got his ways.
I can't believe that Mulder just thought that 5 shots in the stomach was going to kill this man. And then, let me just push you over. No, this man's going to survive and he's going to come back. We all know.
Yeah.
So we have CSM and William supposedly dead in the water. Scully comes around the corner. Mulder is like, William's gone. He's dead. And CSM's dead, and he's very emotional, very distraught. I'm tearing up right now thinking about it.
Oh yeah, he's freaking out because his son is dead.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah.
And he still full on believes that it's his son.
Well, Scully tells him right there.
Well, she doesn't tell him though. And Gillian Anderson, so amazing in her performance. Throughout this, I mean, obviously she's amazing, but this scene in particular, she's talking to Mulder, and she's trying to get the point across to him that William was a test, an experiment, and she's trying to tell him that it wasn't his son. And she doesn't even say it with words. I mean, they are just looking at each other, and she's trying to express this to him, and finally you see it click in his head that he's not the father. And I mean, that's the mark of true acting, is to be able to act without saying anything. You know what I mean? And they just do it so well in that scene with each other. When Mulder realizes it, he's just like taken aback, and he says, "What am I if I'm not a father?" Like he literally says that. And
then Scully says, "You are a father."
And he's like, "What are you talking about?" And she grabs his hand and puts it on her stomach. Scully's pregnant! And he's like, "That's impossible." And she's like, "I know."
She's probably just got a food baby. You know
Don't say that!
You know what a food baby is, right?
It was a beautiful moment. It was so beautiful, because Mulder just had this traumatic.
And he's like, "How is this possible?" And she's like, "It's not it's like a miracle." They imply like
she said that before years ago.
Yeah, but wait a minute.
But hold on to your thought, because I just wanted to mention that Mulder also had said that I believed for so long.
Yeah, that's where.
Which, this man is always believing or trying. I want to believe. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I want to believe. That's his poster.
He's usually right. I mean,
I know.
It's he gets like these.
No, I'm not putting him down for this.
No, I know you're not, but
I'm saying that that's just so sad, because that's like the story of his life. You know what I mean? He's the story of his life.
Yeah, he's been tricked a lot.
Right.
Yeah.
Believing.
But sometimes he's right too. He should take some comfort.
He's been believing the lie. Like
you know what I mean?
Like people throw him lies, and it's just. And I mean, obviously, it wasn't intentional as far as Scully goes. She didn't know.
But if you take into account all the times that he's been right, he should take some comfort in that, as far as the whole believing thing.
But that man, he was so distraught.
Yeah,
he was so distraught. But yeah, I mean, he calmed down after she was like, "You are a father," and now that we know that she's pregnant and stuff, and he embraces her, and the last scene, and the shot, it pulls away, and they're just hugging on the docks, which I thought was a really nice addition as well. The fact that they were on some docks, because the early series, they were always at the docks. They were always around train cars. They were always on the rails. You know what I mean? It was really nice to see that. And then we saw William come up with a shot in his head, and he was still alive. So.
And that's the ending. And it was like, this could be the end of the show, or it could continue.
Right.
We don't know.
And as David Duchovny has said, he's so willing to continue. So we don't know what's going to happen. Gillian Anderson
Chris Carter
does not.
thinks
Chris
he's
Carter
continue.
Decided about a couple of days ago that he's going to continue. So I really do think they're going to continue this, even if they have the whole scenario like I mentioned before, where maybe they have Gillian guest star a couple of episodes. They might do that. Or they might just focus on William.
Yeah, this is like really... I don't know how good an idea it is to continue it. I want them to continue just for because I hate for that to be the end of Skinner, for one thing.
I know.
And I'm curious that they lost their jobs. What it's going to happen now? It's going to happen with the X-Files. There's a lot of things like that I would like to see more of. Well, although I'm okay if that's the end. But
here's the thing: it's not about the X-Files anymore. The show's not about the X-Files anymore. It's not.
And that's why I always had issues when it got into its whole own mythology of the aliens and conspiracies and stuff. Because if you've watched this show for a while, you know that I come into this as a Kolchak the Night Stalker
fan. Which is strictly about the cases.
Monster of the Week. That's all it was. That thing was the Monster of the Week show,
Mm-hmm.
And so I really like those. I like that part of X-Files.
But
and the fact that it has built this huge plot line is really cool. But I like the Monster of the Week
It
stuff.
hasn't been about the X-Files for a long time.
Yeah, but they've always kept that as part of it. I mean,
Yes.
there were maybe some seasons like that focused very little, and maybe they didn't have much in a few seasons.
But the
of those.
core and the foundation.
And those are the seasons I didn't really watch very much.
The foundation of this show is Mulder and Scully.
Well, yeah.
So it's going to be weird going forward.
But the title is The X-Files.
It is.
And if they go... But, I mean, I just don't understand how they can go forward without Scully, considering the
intimacy
big ending,
of the ending.
You know? And that's what worries me is what happens, like, when they continue shows or they do sequels and they can't get all the people back or the main people. You have things like that last season of Once Upon a Time, or you have things like movie sequels where they either have to recast a character
they better not recast
and it
her.
doesn't work, like Mummy 3, which I actually liked that movie, but it was horrible. You cannot make that movie without, keeping the same actress, no matter how good, your new actress is. And or just like writing her out, like a lot of movie sequels, they'll just like the
rewrite
whole it'll be like a movie like I'm gonna use I didn't actually see the sequel, but I heard of it. The movie Paul Blart and Mall Cop, where he's trying to fall in love and end up with this girl through the whole movie, and then they just have her dump him for the second movie,
wow.
because they couldn't get her back or whatever. And like a lot of other movies, like Austin Powers 2 or Karate Kid, where they just. The love story was a huge part of the first movie, and then the second movie, the girl is gone. Transformers 3, it made no sense. Those movies might not be that great.
One of my favorite trilogies, or actually, it's one of my favorite trilogies, Back to the Future. Recasting
So it happens with really good movies.
Recasting the girl.
Yeah.
That did not work for me. Elizabeth
Yeah,
Shue.
I mean, I love all three of those movies. I know you love all three of those movies.
Absolutely.
But it's so hard to watch. And I like Elizabeth Shue.
In other stuff, but not in this.
Yeah. but not in Back to the Future. You just want that other girl to be back in that role. And
like I said, I honestly believe this, they would never recast Scully.
I don't believe they'll recast her. What does that mean? You're going to write her out of it when... Is it going to be like some of those like sitcom spin-offs where once in a while like Mulder comes to visit?
That's exactly what it's going to be. It's probably going to be William taking over the show on the run.
Well, you know what?
Every once in a while Mulder might be on the case, or...
I don't think you can have a show called X-Files about William on the run.
Or, God forbid... They just say, Scully's at home pregnant with the babies. We're just gonna retire her from the X-Files. Mulder's still gonna be on the X-Files.
Oh, we'll just never see the home life.
He's gonna get a new partner. We're never gonna see the home life.
He's gonna be on the phone all the time with Scully every once in a while.
Yeah, exactly.
That actually might be the best option.
I would be okay with that.
I think that's the best option, honestly.
I would be okay with that.
Because the only other option that I think would be okay is to just have new characters on the X-Files, like a new guy.
The thing that I said about the X-Files origins, about the 1950s X-Files.
That's a great idea, but that's a whole nother show.
That's a side show.
That wouldn't be like the next season. That would be...
Right.
I mean, they could do that. The next episode could begin with 1950
but
something.
I think my yes. I feel like we had a resolution, and I feel good about that. I feel hopeful, which is what I was saying in our previous video, that I just want this to end with hope. I want it to end with hope. It always ends with hope. I need some hope here, and it did. With the new child, and it brought Mulder and Scully together with the new child and everything. But I'm a little sad that I'm never gonna get to see them happy in their family life.
Because they're not.
Because they're never gonna show.
They're never gonna show it because she's not gonna be that well.
Right.
Maybe she'll do a guest episode.
And I don't mean just a little sad. I'm kind of pretty sad about that. That we're never gonna get to see that.
But.
And the reason why is because these poor characters have been tortured for so many years. I mean, they've been through the ringer.
That could be what they are implying when they like fired them both. Okay, so now you know they're not going to be going through this stressful life of being on the X-Files anymore. They're just going to settle down, you know, in a little house and just raise the kid, and that's going to be it.
Maybe the first episode of the next season is going to be Mulder handing the keys to somebody else.
Yeah, and you know, that might be the best thing. And
handing over the basement.
And maybe he'll pop in now and then.
To assist. That's what Scully did when she was pregnant in season 8. She would pop in every now and then.
Yeah, didn't they have like a season where it was 2 other, wasn't Reyes? And,
yeah, it was Reyes and Doggett.
Yeah. I can bring Doggett back. They're going to bring a young guy if they do it that way.
Yeah, they will.
But I do have 2 things to say. One is, so when Smokey Man makes these kids like he did with Mulder, and he did, like, Mulder's his actual legitimate kid. I mean, maybe not legitimate, but it's his kid.
Yeah, he's not a test tube baby. You mean?
So William is not any DNA of Smokey Man?
They explained it earlier that
is he just Alien and Scully, or is he Smokey Man and Alien and Scully?
I think they're implying that it's...
Because here's the thing.
They're implying that it's Scully, Smoking Man, and Alien.
If he is Smokey Man also, and Smokey Man is also Mulder's dad, then Mulder and William were brothers.
Right.
And Mulder has a brother who's got Scully for a mom, so that's really weird. Scully's the mother of Mulder's brother.
We watched...
And Mulder's son.
We watched another review of this episode, and they said a good point. They said that it's very Shakespearean.
Yeah.
The whole drama and all of that.
It's like Greek tragedies.
Yeah. Which I'm kind of cool with, because
I get
that's
that. Yeah.
rare. It's rare to see
that was really
days.
cool, and that was a really cool point that person made.
I think it's a little weird when you think it... Okay, so it's a little hard to fathom how complex the show got from those...
Monster of the Week episodes.
Those pure little episodes.
Oh, yeah. Well, you had one running
2.
on there a minute ago.
Yeah, it was so pure.
And they were so young, and they were just like having their the
we were watching Size
bickering
earlier.
little...
Yeah. The one where they're in the town with the teenage girls, and season 2.
Where it looks like...
Or 3. Season 3.
It's just funny.
They've come so far, and things have gotten so complex, and...
I do have...
And not in a bad way.
I have another comment, though.
What?
Okay, so they made a point about this, like, new baby here is like a miracle.
Okay.
And, like, the title of the episode was, like... It was
Savior of the world.
It was in, not the title of the episode, but like the little quote that they put at the beginning. Mm-hmm. Sometimes they put the truth is out there, sometimes they put other stuff.
Right.
And this was Latin, and it said Savior of the world.
Right, and I believe it, I looked it up, and it was a painting that was created.
Okay, so they said Savior of the world, basically. And then at the end, this baby is implied to be a miracle baby.
Right.
And I was saying, like, is this like the Jesus baby? Like,
but I didn't really get that vibe, because
they didn't push it or anything. But I mean, that's like a couple of interesting little things.
It was more of like, oh, you're already getting older. That's impossible.
I think
to me, it was more of that. You know what I mean? Rather than a miracle baby, because remember, and I don't know if you recall this, but William was seen as the miracle baby because, I mean, they laid it all out there. When Scully was having the baby, they had a star, shining, and Mulder found her. Like, Mulder literally says this to the lone gunmen, who are the 3 wise men in the scene. He literally says, I followed a star. I mean, it is and then just pure...
And basically he did save the world by dying.
He did save the world by dying. But
not necessarily by dying, but he died and he came back.
Oh! I didn't have
everybody,
that.
Everybody else like got that the first time they watched it. We just got
Oh
it.
my
He
goodness.
died and he came back. Wow.
We just burst
Okay,
the
so
flames.
maybe this new baby's just a baby. But if this new baby's not just a baby, then maybe Mulder still isn't a father. But yeah, no, I guess that Savior of the World was just talking about William then.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Let's hope this new baby's just a normal baby and everything goes well.
Because he did. Oh my gosh. This
What?
is so more in depth now. Because he did end up sacrificing himself for the people.
Although
Of the
that's not really
world.
what saved the world. What saved the world was Mulder firing all those shots into the
Well,
Smoking
yeah,
Man.
I know that, but
And then that's still, you gotta cross your fingers that Smoking Man's dead.
I know.
But I'm pretty sure he's dead. I think they just, they were wanted to be done with the Smoking Man.
Don't be pretty sure he's dead because he's
Well,
never
I
dead.
mean, when actors are getting older, they don't want to rely on them, too much.
That's true. That's true. But yeah, he was definitely the savior.
There's a lot of possibilities for the future, so maybe Smoking Man's dead, maybe he's not. Maybe Skinner's dead, maybe he's not. Maybe the baby's normal, maybe it's not. Maybe.
Oh, this is gonna
Maybe-
it's gonna be a normal baby, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, again, we might not ever see Mulder and Scully again.
And
I think we'll probably
it's
see
gonna
Mulder
be a
again.
girl.
Yeah, how do you know that?
I don't know. I have a feeling.
Just to be different.
Yeah. Totally.
Yeah. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see where it goes.
You know
I mean,
why it's gonna be a girl?
Huh.
Because of Samantha, his sister.
Oh, they're gonna name her Samantha.
Yes.
That the whole Samantha thing took so many twists and turns. And again, like I said, there
You
were
don't remember how it ended,
there were
do you?
seasons that I didn't follow as closely because they were being less monster of the week and more mythology. And that's why I'm excited that we're gonna start watching the whole show from the beginning next week.
You guys.
And
Stay tuned.
so the show's gonna be back. Our show's gonna be back with that.
This is not the end.
And,
Next week, it's going to
yeah.
be the pilot episode. We're going to revisit everything, and we're super excited about it because we just put on one of the season 3 episodes right before we were getting ready for this to record, and we're just really pumped. I'm pumped.
I'm excited.
It's so nice to see, to go back to the beginning and see how things started. So, yeah. First, the pilot episode, we're gonna do it. We're gonna review it. We're gonna talk about it.
Like we always do
Yeah.
with the whole show as long as we can. And and so hopefully I'll get to see all the episodes that I didn't see eventually.
Yes.
And try to pay more attention to them this time around.
You'll see how Samantha.
Because I remember just getting confused about. So I would always
think
be like
everybody
asking
was
you.
confused about that.
So
I don't even
did
really
he even
remember
have
really.
a sister?
Well, he had a sister.
No, I know.
but
It got confusing. Like
technically, he was a half.
it was like was it his
half-sister.
real
It was
sister?
a
Yeah.
half-sister.
There was a lot of confusing
But,
stuff. Did you have any final thoughts? Because my battery light is blinking.
Final thoughts. I thought it was a fantastic episode. I'm really happy with the ending. I hope to see more of the X-Files in the future in the best way possible. Hopefully Mulder, in the X-Files somehow, maybe calling Scully every now and then. But they're together as a family with a baby, yes. Shipper moments, any shipper moments. Basically the whole thing was
The
a
whole
shipper
thing was a
moment.
shipper thing, guys.
Shipper thing, total shipper thing. From the beginning, when
Most of the time they weren't together, and when they were, it was hardcore shipper.
super shippery.
Because that's all it was about.
When Mulder rushed off to get William and Scully said, "Just come back alive." Huge shipper moment throughout the whole show. You could tell Scully was trying to tell Mulder that she was pregnant throughout the whole series. I don't know if you watched closely, but she was throughout the whole series. She was
I
like,
have to watch it again.
she was like, trying to get it out, and she never could get it out. The end scene, super shipperish. I mean, it was just all shippery.
Yeah, it was all
awesome.
about that they were they're a couple now.
Yay, they're a couple.
Great episode.
awesome.
If this was the last episode ever, you'd be cool with it.
I would be cool with it, yeah.
Sad for Skinner though, but
I know, but I'm also sad that I want to see them in the family aspect. I don't know, I just really do.
You're just supposed to imagine that.
I'd like to see them smile at the end.
So if this camera doesn't die for me real quick, we've been showing merchandise. Eventually we're gonna run out probably pretty soon, but Okay, I've shown this in our Christmas vlog, but this year we each got an X-Files Christmas ornament. This is the Hallmark Christmas ornament. This was from this past year.
It's amazing.
If you love X-Files and you love Christmas ornaments, I love Hallmark Christmas ornaments. I collect those like crazy. And this is the actual ornament taken out of the box. And let me see, this cost how much? This originally cost $17.95. Of course, this was from this past Christmas. You know, you can get them on eBay, I'm sure.
Play that sucker.
Maybe cheaper. Yeah, it has sound.
Oh, it's so amazing.
So yeah, pretty cool. Mulder and Scully. I think it says X-Files. Yeah, on the front.
likeness is pretty good too.
Yeah.
And it's pretty much the whole song.
Yeah.
Pretty much. They cut off one part.
But very cool. Get this for your X-Files fans and family next Christmas or whenever. Very cool. Good cake topper. Birthday X-Files birthday cake. Put that on top.
Idea.
Okay, so that's it for this week, guys.
You guys, it was fantastic. I hope you guys enjoyed the final episode, possibly. Don't be too sad. If you are happy, I'm happy. I'm just really excited about what happened.
It was a good episode. Really good
It was
episode.
good.
Yeah, it was great.
I'm happy for our characters. You know, they've been through it all, and it was just nice. It's been 20 some years, and feels like an era has ended again. I said this like how many years ago when it ended the first time, but it feels like it again. And hopefully they come out with more, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
We'll see you next week.
See you next week.
For the first pilot episode review.
Episode 1 of X-Files.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.